as we jump straight into this champ select, we are gonna again, as I said, have Koi on this blue side and Le Red Wall coming through instead of Le Blue Wall. What bans? Okay, we talked about bans. I don't think we're going to see. I think we'll see Darius banned away. The top player on Le Blue Wall is a Darius OTP. Not the highest rank on the team as well, but definitely not something to be underestimated. It wouldn't shock me too much if we do see that ban coming through. However, instead we're going to see priority on this jungle ban of Diana. Also recognizing that this is a constant threat throughout the tournament, we're going to see Le Blue Wall choosing to ban out these just jungle picks for the side of Koi. And it's just so much jungle play, so much focus around this jungle when it comes to the early stage of drafting that I think is really, really smart.
I think that I think that is the fundamental aspect of what a lot of this tournament is. What are you doing?
I'm petting the dragon.
Oh, that's cute.
The little dragon.
Tiny little green Shivan. Had a few more bans. That Darius removed, like you were talking about. Karma taken off the table. No real worked Olaf is going to be appearing in this game, unfortunately.
Good.
And Zoe, the last one, taken off the board. First pick here. Normally you see a jungler or an AD carry locked into this position, but honestly, could be anything.
I actually think we'll see Ahri coming through for Koi. I think it would be smart of them to take that Ahri here. Obviously, a contested pick for Le Blue Wall as well. They also have their Masters mid laner able to play this Ahri. It seems to be, I guess, as I said, the previous game in the draft, highly contested pick throughout this tournament. And we are going to see that Ahri locked in. Smartest play Koi could have made there, giving that to them. However, even if Ahri was taken for the side of Le Blue Wall, Koi can play Vex now. That is a potential counter pick we could see coming through here. I actually think it might have been smarter if, you know, we have a Qiyana player on the side of Le Blue Wall to take that Vex rather than this Ahri. Very, very strong counter pick to Qiyana, in my opinion. My humble opinion.
It's a difficult one, because if you start counter picking people before they pick the champions, it's difficult. Volibear, pretty standard pick. Taliyah, definitely not. I think this might end up being a lane Taliyah, Mac.
I'm so excited. I was playing a cheeky bit of mid lane Taliyah in my ranked games earlier. It is so fun. You can definitely feel that boulder kind of gives you so much support. Support Taliyah could be an option too. Obviously, that W no longer costs that mana, short cooldown, no damage to compensate, but you might see funny haha W max support Taliyah. But either way, I think Taliyah is in a very good spot right now. I think this rework is definitely put her in a healthy place. And we are going to see Taliyah be a viable counter to this Grace that has just been picked up as well, this anti-dash. So we are going to see Jhin also. Now, Jin's itemization is definitely very interesting in that you've got that lethality. People want to move away from this Gale Force after the nurse. However, that's a Senna.
I think that Taliyah Senna bot lane, definitely a distinct possibility. Just like going into my mind, I think that's maybe something that could happen. We will have to see. So, as it stands, we've seen AD carries locked in, kinda. The Senna obviously not going to be farming up in that bot side. Junglers here most likely in the Graves and the Volibear, and then potentially mid laners, Ahri, Taliyah possibly affects that Ahri definitely in the mid side of the map. And now the Blue Wolf banning out the Fiora, and Koi opting towards the Swain.
I like that Swain ban a lot. I think Swain Senna is a very, very oppressive lane that will make it absolutely unplayable for the side of Koi if they choose not to opt for the Senna Taliyah bot lane. You know, be even grosser than Senna Taliyah. You know what's bugged right now after this patch? The Sion nerf. Sion nerf is bugged. Senna Sion bot lane is a... there we go. There's the Sion ban. Yeah, they read it. They read it. Thank God. I hate Sion. This is anti-Sion propaganda. Thank you for the anonymous donation, $10 towards the fund. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about how much I hate Sion. I hate that character. If you play that character, don't look at me, don't talk to me, don't interact with me. Ever. Ever. I'm dead serious.
That's in the Twitter bio. Sion players do not interact. Yeah.
DNI. Yeah.
DNI.
It's on my card.
Yeah. No,
okay, we are going to see the Ornn pick up here.
Yeah, we are going to see the Ornn pick up here. Second game of the day, second time that we're going to be seeing him. Not too surprising, honestly. Very, very stable in that top side, and that's kind of what we saw in the previous game. Can play towards it with the Volibear if you want to, but equally can just leave it on an island.
Yeah, for sure. And we just saw how, you know, gross that Ornn is when left in that. Oh, that's a Sett. That's going to be a nice match to that Ornn. I actually really like that pick. This is great because it can deal with the strong Volibear engage. You can like counter ult as soon as he ults in. Wow, no you don't. No you don't. No you don't. You're back to your team. Away with you. But also is able to trade fairly nicely with this Ornn in the early game. We did see that Gnar pick coming through the previous game. Also Jhin, Yuumi. Mwah. Great pick. I actually really like that. But we did see in that previous game, the Gnar just wasn't able to match the Ornn in the lane. Sett definitely could be something to be a little bit stronger and also a good counter to like some other options on that team. I like this pick. You want to talk about Yuumi real quick?
Yeah. Cat champion. So
cat, funny book cat, yeah.
Funny book cat. Big fan of it actually. I particularly like it with these junglers like the Graves who can get a bit bruisery and deal a fair bit of damage as well. Having that extra sustain on your back and that extra damage as well is going to be so impactful. Miss Fortune going to be the final lock-in, so that would imply that it is going to be Senna Miss Fortune in the bot lane. This Taliyah is going into the mid side.
You know, it'd be really funny. Oh, you know, it'd be really funny if it's like you do some funny haha Miss Fortune support nonsense support item. Well, not support item, but like some really annoying, as I'm sure you know, poke Miss Fortune build. Although I do think we'll see the standard on-hit crit build, which is just incredibly strong right now. With the, I believe the wave nerfs will be coming through next patch. But like as we've seen many a time throughout, you know, these games coming through recently, Miss Fortune is just incredibly strong team fight pressure paired with that Ornn horn as well. We are going to see Taliyah Wall also giving a lot more zoning control, meaning that we do have tons of zoning from LeBlue Wall, Taliyah Wall, Taliyah E, Volibear ult, Ornn ult, Miss Fortune ult, Senna, everything. Like, it's just, here we are.
We are going to be jumping into game. Koi here on the blue side, LeBlue Wall representing Carmine Corp's fan club on the red side. This is a spicy rivalry, Mac, and I want to see some spice at the level 1.
Well, we got LeBlue Wall. We got LeBlue Wall. We've got Taliyah. We have LeBlue Wall confirmed. I love to see it. An interesting pick for the Ahri here. I want to comment on this rune choice really quickly before we jump in. General standard for Taliyah coming through in this mid lane is that electrocute, but Ahri giving so much more poke pressure and poke damage, especially if you're going to play smartly around this new boulder system now, which gives you cheap poke in addition to being able to kind of use your normal Q for your farming. Now it's got that slight AoE back on it. You can use that Q to just poke out your opponent, and you're not always going to proc that electrocute off of that, so Ahri is going to be more consistent poke damage, making it hard for Ahri to stay in lane, get to this like mid state. We are going to see a summoner differential in that mid lane too, with the ignite and the teleport, which I find personally very interesting. They're both playing for different kind of things, a lot of around the map movement for Taliyah.
So TP and obviously that Weaver's Wall are both very good tools for getting Taliyah to these side lanes and roaming around, but I think Fackstard with the ignite and the electrocute here is indicating somewhat towards that sort of style. Be a bit more lane dominant, get that shove in, and then maybe start rotating away to these side lanes. And I'm going to be interested to see how the Ahri does deal with the Taliyah, because it's not a matchup that I imagine Fackstard has played too much. Definitely not in the last couple years. Amancio just trading at the level 1 here with the Sett. This is something that a couple players around the world like Ebby love to do. So strong in that level 1 and deny a bit of XP away from the Ornn.
And Amancio Ornntega, obviously a cheeky little Ornn one-trick name, as we always see. That always has to be a character put in your one-trick name. So he's definitely going to know this matchup pretty well. I'd assume it doesn't shock me too much. We're going to see him exploiting Ornn's weaknesses. Maybe we might even see Ornn lose lane. God forbid. Oh no. For once.
Had to be a time.
the first game in history.
Tank, DPS, AD carry. Maybe he's going to lose a game at some point, but obviously as a champion can just sort of exist. That's kind of the narrative that we were going with last game, and even if you do end up falling down in terms of CS, falling down slightly in levels, you're still going to be relevant when it comes to these later team fights. Yeah,
so one thing I want to briefly comment on here is look at how pokey this bot lane is. We talked about how it's just going to be so oppressive for Jhin to deal with. And when you've only got one target, maybe a big trade coming on the top lane.
That's a lot of damage.
It's Ornn. He's a diver.
Yeah, but burning through those potions pretty rapidly, though. And maybe forced to back fairly soon to pick up some extra sustain, because they are taking heavy punishment in this lane.
Yeah, for sure. I actually really like Ahri's corrupting pot choice here against the Taliyah. People often itemize Doran's ring just generally, but corrupting pot's so much better into like these pokey lanes, and I really, really like people are taking the time to think about like these early game items a little bit more in these matchups. It's not something you often see coming through. However, we are going to see that Senna route just managing to miss that Yuumi getting back in time before she's locked out of attaching to her teammate. Oh, this bot lane. I do not envy this Jhin. I do not envy being in this position right now.
But I personally don't really envy LoSiiZe at the moment, because as we saw on the minimap just briefly there, we had Fackstard and FUBZ moving up towards that top lane, denying the Ornn even more CS, even less access to the wave, and already a very substantial CS deficit has emerged.
Yeah, FUBZ actually playing a lot more passive for a Volibear in this early game than I expected. Going to opt for this full clear instead. Maybe, well, now we have scuttle control of that Drake, which we are going to see coming up in 45 seconds. Also has bot lane control with how much poke is coming through here for LBW2TRAVAIL. Could look for an early Drake to try and counter, but instead I think they're going to move top side, maybe try and shadow the Ornn to make sure that no dive pressure is coming through and keeping him safe. However, we are going to see Graves kind of moving around this mid spot side, looking for maybe slight invade, but we are going to see a skirmish at the top lane, skirmish everywhere. MiddleCott, my goodness, I can't keep up.
Aggressive negotiations is the technical term for what is occurring. Vixie going to be spotted out by FUBZ. Support is moving over from the solo lanes of Koi, and LBW2TRAVAIL's jungle top duo recognizing that they really don't have priority here anymore. And once again, Vixie making their way towards this top side, trying to deny this Ornn access to the wave. And we may be seeing our first fight as BLEU2TRAVAIL has moved their way over. Much mana on the Taliyah, able to throw out a fair bit of damage with those boulders though.
Yeah, absolutely. But the issue is no mana going into that fight, as you said. It's hard when we have that great spot there. It was an excellent spot to actually be in, getting that huge flank. Ahri actually going wide with the Q there, not able to execute that Ornn after the charm. Not that it would have done enough. There's no amp on that charm anymore. But you can't really afford to take that fight with the Ornn so low. Has a great spot, no mana, no team. But generally, as you said, trading in blows.
Yeah, definitely advantages being generated on opposite sides and opposite sides. So that is a very, very well-timed Bellows breath there. The face breaker, almost an instant cast. So LoSiiZe maybe feeling themselves a little bit more in this matchup now that it is in that isolated 1v1 scenario. But I love that we're getting this sort of game state where we do have leads on opposite sides of the map for both of these teams, and it means that the next sort of 5-10 minutes become a lot more interesting into how they're going to play it out.
Yeah, there's no clear team domination here, but there is different win conditions for each side. However, we are going to see Volibear move up. Now, I don't know if he's been spotted on this ward, going to move in for this gank. Showstopper's available.
Ornntega still has access to the Showstopper, but is only going to be able to throw the Volibear into the river, thrown up into the air. The true damage shield by seconds, but FUBZ secures first blood.
And honestly, this is what I wanted to see from this Volibear, able to give a little bit more pressure back to his laner where they know they're going to have a rough time. However, we're going to see pressure on the mid lane.
Vixie here to try and make a play onto that Taliyah. Graves securing the kill, one traded back as now the roams coming through from the bot lane of LBW2TRAVAIL, and FUBZ secures his second kill.
Okay, great moving and responses here. Both teams seem to be on it right now, MiddleCott. I'm very excited. Lots of overall map pressure, understanding where everyone is playing around it. However, really well played in particular from LBW2TRAVAIL. The Senna knows that they're going to have that gank coming through, spotted out on that mid ward. We did have that control ward in that river. It chooses to move up, knows that Miss Fortune can be safe alone against this Jhin. Yuumi is able to get a bit more pressure, and another kill onto FUBZ. Going to put that Volibear so far ahead now, making it very, very hard for Graves to deal with.
And crucially, this is what you want to be seeing when you are able to generate this lane pressure, moving out onto the rest of the map after you get that shove and grabbing your team some advantages. And whilst Amancio Ornntega is being shoved in at the moment, he's been the one that's really been at the enemy Ornn's tower, but as it stands, he wasn't able to generate anything with that.
Yeah, speaking of generation, we see... Oh, never mind. Maybe a trade that's coming through on the top side could be more decisive, but it's just going to be a short trade. Speaking of like moving in, we are going to see... We're going to see Big Red donating here. 10 euros. Little compensation from the first BIG games. Thank you very much. That is massive. Every single euro of your support is so appreciated. But you know what isn't appreciated? Graves moving through into that bot side, not being able to do anything. Like, you don't have any gang pressure here. You don't have any vision control. And you can't really make proactive plays. You have to wait for Jhin Yuumi to try and set this up for you. That's what I was trying to say before I got interrupted for that donation.
We got there. We got there.
Yeah, we got there in the end. We got there in the end.
Nice segue. Yeah. It was a good point. It was a good point. Well made. But yeah, obviously raising money in support of Doctors Without Borders for the current humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. So yes, every single cent that you can donate is going to be very much appreciated. Amancio once again going for an aggressive trade onto the Ornn, but maybe looking for a bit more of a kill. Final 2 autos into the back of the head. That's a solo kill for the Koi top laner. Response in the bot lane from the blue wall. They strike back.
We are going to see a little bit of preemptive Ornn horn blowing. It's okay. It happens to everyone. It's normal. But a good response there coming through from the Volibear. Great tower dive, pushing their team far ahead with this early lead that we're able to get themselves. Good response and kind of understanding that, okay, Ornn's just kind of there. This is our weak side top. We're not going to really play around this. But this is exactly what I want to see when I talk about this bot lane pressure, getting this bot ahead, and we are going to see first Drake going down at 9 minutes to the Blue Wars Besiege fight coming out in the middle.
Yeah, Charm connecting onto Fackstard. That push there, that shove coming through, not enough to keep BLEU2TRAVAIL alive. It will fall down for the second time on this mid lane Taliyah. See,
that's the thing. We keep seeing these constant trades coming through, and the gold lead is just completely, even. The only lead that we really have coming through here from the blue wall is that objective lead, which will be important. Don't get me wrong, as we come through later into the game. It's definitely going to be more important based on what Soul ends up showing up, which we won't be getting anytime soon, as we're going to see. But we know it's not going to be an Ocean Soul, as that will be the next Drake in the lineup.
Starting to see itemization come through, being completed for both of these teams. Turbo Chem Tank for FUBZ there on the Volibear, and actually going to be the Umbral Glaives picked up for Vixie, so a little bit less damage, a bit more focus on clearing out some of these wards, establishing vision control.
I like that, especially with how strong the blue wall's vision control has been. As you can see by this bot Riverside, there was 3 control wards there. The Umbral Glaive going to make it so much easier to clean all this out, but they don't have any vision control of their own. Not ready for this.
Yeah, maybe a little bit arrogant. The Turbo Chem Tank shut down, secured by Miyeon. And maybe that was selfmade's fault, as selfmade Catalan going to fall down for a double kill for the Senna. But seeing plays being made on the bottom side of the map, and Amancio recognizes that he can go in, he can get the dunk, and LoSiiZe may just be dropping down a second solo kill for the Sett.
Oh, what an excellent play there, and great vision control, as we're going to see another collapse coming through into this bot side. Poor Jhin.
Estrefo just going to be dropping down, popping the pop. That's not going to keep you alive. 4 kills now for Miyeon on this Senna. That is very, very scary.
Miss Fortune very much just content to...
No, you don't get a chance to talk as Fackstard making his way to the bot side, making the plays with the Ahri. First kill of the game for them as Vixie taken very, very low. The Stormbringer, the tower dive, but it's the Ornn who's going to be dropping low, but not dropping down. More kills for the Senna as it's a shutdown secured by the Graves. Huge plays in the bot side.
And it's also a huge play from Juan Scal with that 10 euros coming through on that donation. Thank you very much. So appreciated. However, what was a big play there was, I don't know if it was Miss Fortune cancelling their ult or if it was Ahri charming, because I feel like the charm came through afterwards. But that was a little bit of a misplay, but honestly just bad positioning for that ultimate in general. I feel like popping it there definitely wasn't great, especially when you have that flash available. If you're getting collapsed on, flash out, reposition, throw down that E, then you can throw down that ult, and that fight might have gone completely different.
I just want to check very quickly. So Miyeon, they were on a serrated Dirk before they got those kills. They've just gone back. They've bought an Umbral Glaive and a serrated Dirk. Pretty much just settled 3k gold as a result of that fight. And it's another one of these sort of vision denial items being picked up, this time for the blue wall. We'll have to see how the Senna is going to be able to use it.
See, now, Umbral Glaive has just been generally rushed because of its gold efficiency, good vision denial, also good, as I said, gold efficiency in terms of like what you're getting for your money, raw combat stats. However, we choose to see Jhin not itemize this, which is a general standard itemization for Jhin. Instead, I believe we're going to see that Gale Force come through. Smarter when we see this Ornn pick, this Volibear. I feel like lethality would be very ineffective, but what is going to be effective is this Rift Cowl being deployed on the mid lane. Maybe a little bit early, but maybe just looking to capture those last couple turret plates as we're going to hit turret plate going down very shortly in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, 14-minute mark is when those towers are going to become substantially easier to take down. Whilst that fight in the bot lane was happening, the Sett was able to take down this top lane tower, so that's a full turret just solo over to him, and with the 63 CS advantage that Amancio Ornntega currently has over his opposite number, he's going to be feeling very good. FUBZ may be caught out here as the final chapter is going to be procced. And the blue wall running into the Wither. FUBZ going forward, gets the stun onto the Graves and takes him down. Self-made Catalan going to channel that route, pull that over to Fackstard. They are going to be absolutely fine. Amancio Ornntega now looking for a play under the tower. 2 levels up, the true damage. And the Sett's on a killing spree.
Speaking of killing spree, we can see a BLEU2TRAVAIL looking for blood, going to pick off this Jhin. Very nice and clean. Another kill going forward as we're going to see Dragon coming up in 3 seconds. And overall, I feel like that was due to Vixie once again stepping forward with enough vision. Joel, sure, trying to sweep out with that Umbral Glaive, but when there's no vision there in the first place, look at how easy you are to pick off. It's like you're getting read like a book. The team's always there in a position to match you, and it's great from Le Blue Wall that they have this overall bot team play. However, might be sacrificing some top control for it, no?
Possibly sacrificing some top controllers. That is the inner tower taken down at 15 minutes. Once again, solo gold onto Amancio. Once again, the Sett getting further along in this itemization.
Look at the farm diff, by the way.
Farm diff, absolutely massive. And with that Phage and Pickaxe in inventory, I think that the Hull Breaker is going to be the next one on the board. And it's going to be impossible at that point to uproot the Sett from the side lane. Stun going down onto Vixie is the... Is that stolen away, that Scuttler? That was pretty cheeky. Fackstard, you don't want to be there, buddy. Flashes into the river. It might just be going down all the same. BLEU2TRAVAIL picking up that one. Curtain's going to be called. And Amancio on the flank will look to take out this Volibear. Shutdown onto Vixie is massive. And a double kill for the Graves. It's going to be pretty good for the team from Spain. LoSiiZe just bouncing into the wall. The final chapter thrown up. The order is unstoppable, but that doesn't mean unkillable, as it's a spree for the Graves.
You know what we didn't talk about going into the kind of this fight? We didn't talk about Sett's overall pressure when he does actually match with his team. We talked about his pressure in this side lane, but look at how much of a monster he is coming into that fight. He absolutely turned the tables for what looked absolutely horrible of a mispositioning there from Fackstard. And honestly, really well played in terms of being able to get that shut down onto Vixie.
No.
So important. Oh my god. Never mind. Wrap it up. There we go. No, wrap it up. Any praise gone.
The worst thing that has ever happened has just happened. That's going to feel pretty bad, and maybe it's an opportunity for the Blue Wall to have their cake and eat it too. They were able to take down that mid lane tower after the play, and FUBZ not quite in time to dive into the pit. The reset did come through, but we have been able to pick up that kill, and they might get a little bit more as Amancio going into the back line without an Ornn, as they were able to go unstoppable, but the face breaker is just massive. Another kill on the bot side, but look at the Volibear, he's absolutely massive. Shut down secured by Miyeon, as that's going to be Vixie forced to flash away, but FUBZ is not stopping, diving forward, the Sky Splitter to take out the Graves, and Estrefo forced to flash away. Neither of these teams wants to give up anything.
Oh, I want to talk about how, like, it feels like it's a game of mispositioning, but there's so much mispositioning that isn't going punished because they'll walk forward, misposition, but it doesn't matter because they can take the fight anyways. Look at this Volibear, look at this Ornn, look at this Sett. They're beefy boys, MiddleCott, and they're taking these fights. You know who isn't beefy, but is definitely putting in the work right now? Senna. Look, we're going to get a quick replay on this fight. Look at incredible engage here from Volibear. We saw the Sett maybe turn the tables from this Ornn, but my god, what a incredible ult. And we've just got Senna sitting there in the backlines cleaning things up, forces to burn that flash. Look, we see that engage here from Ornn. Oh, it's too much for my little heart. I can't deal with it.
It's pretty disgusting. But despite how one-sided the back half of that fight looked, it's still pretty much an even game. The one key thing, though, for the Blue Wall is They're sat on that 600 gold lead. The 2 dragons that they've got in their back pocket. And with a Mountain Drake going to be the 3rd dragon of the game, I think they're going to be very, very excited, looking to pick that one up. Amancio not able to find LoSiiZe with that face breaker. Again, wonderful immunity using the unstoppable.
Yeah, he's definitely got that timing down now. And I want to just quickly follow up on what you mentioned about that Mountain Drake, Mountain Soul coming up. Obviously, bolsters that resistance coming into these team fights. We know that Volibear and Ornn, the brothers, going to be very durable coming into this late game. However, it is also an anti-poke tool when we get that Soul. The shields coming up will mean that you're able to deal with this poke from Ahri, deal with this poke from Jhin, deal with this poke from Yuumi, more so than if you didn't have this Soul. It's a good Soul coming into this game, and it's definitely the best Soul for the blue wall here, in my opinion.
And we touched a little bit earlier on itemization for this set for Amancio, and interesting to see they've actually opted towards this Sterak, so not going for the split push, as Vixie, taking a hell of a lot of damage from Miyeon, has opted towards that Eclipse, that lethality build, so a lot of power right now for the Senna, but oh my god, haven't really set up vision around this dragon. It's actually Koi who are moving towards the pit.
Poor Jhin hasn't even finished that item yet. Poor Jhin. I feel so bad here for Estrefo. Not really been able to play the game with this really, really dominant bot lane. But maybe with the curtain call here, if he sits back in this fight, should be starting up now as this Mountain Drake comes up.
Catch potentially here onto the Sett with the Yuumi on top of him is going to buy a lot of time. Flash is being forced, ultimate's being channeled, but the bullet time doesn't hit anyone. Sterak's going to be popped to buy a little bit more time, but it's going to be a killing spree for FUBZ and a dead cat in the bargain as well. Koi had the setup towards the Drake. Estrefo might just be going down the flash over the wall, or not quite finding the Jhin just yet. The Sky Splitter coming down, not in range, and now top lane up from the blue wall, potentially overextended there, but they're not going to be complaining as they're on soul point.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, the blue wall coming up there, splitting off the fight, meaning that Amancio Ornntega is awfully out of position there. No team to back him up. All behind that Drake pit wall. You saw Jhin get choked out by that Taliyah. Without vision, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Without vision, my goodness. You can't even really take these fights. We're talking about how it's an even gold lead, but look who has the gold on the side of the blue wall. That's all on the Volibear. That's all on the Senna. And even though the Taliyah doesn't have crazy amounts of gold, she's still a problem, where we don't really see the same kind of threat coming through from Koi. We do see, sure, the Sett is a problem, but when you've got no one else to back you up at this point, sure, Graves has some items in his pocket, but I'm sorry, 2 lethality items into Ornn Volibear isn't really going to be doing too much if you can't get onto this backline.
And I love that that's what you've raised, because it is absolutely Koi's. They've got the gold, but it's not in places where they can effectively impact the enemy composition. That Senna is dealing so much more damage than the Graves can in these teamfights, simply because they outrange you. And this Herald being summoned in the bot lane, I'm not even sure if it's going to get a charge. So Koi maybe showing a little bit of weakness now in this game. Vixie being jumped onto here. FUBZ chasing them down. They are going to be able to collateral damage black as the bullet time is going to be pulled. And that's actually 2 jobs. That's a lot of damage. And 2 kills coming through from Koi already. FUBZ is going to be falling down as well. They are absolutely not out of this game just yet, as in the bot lane, Amancio Ornntega in a 1v2 scenario throws up the true damage and keeps themselves alive. They might just be looking for a second kill here, as BLEU2TRAVAIL kiting around, throwing out those rocks. Running forward with the knuckle down, facebreaker not quite landing. Not getting flipped into the air, but finally the shield comes out, the damage comes through. And it's a solo kill in the bot lane for BLEU2TRAVAIL. Vixie now potentially caught out. Gonna look for FUBZ. Is able to run it away. Madness across the rift.
We're in Skirmish City right now, MiddleCott. Everyone is everywhere. And speaking of, there's still more stuff going on. Gonna be picked up here. Another kill going through onto BLEU2TRAVAIL. This poor Jhin is getting absolutely diffed by this Taliyah. And I can't help but feel so bad for this one guy in particular on Koi's team. It's so rough. It's
just not fun. It's just not fun. You're there playing ADC.
ADC fun roll. ADC fun roll, by the way. Both ADCs not been able to do anything this game.
It's like when you're playing sort of like a 5-person pre-made and everyone else is having fun, but you're that one person who's like sat at 0-3, is 40 CS down, the rest of your team's winning, and everyone's like in the cool, like, yeah, this is going so amazing. And you're like, great. guys.
You know, one thing I actually want to mention about this previous team fight, and it's a shame we can't see it in Spectator, is this worked ground from Taliyah. Using these new boulder Qs on this worked ground puts your Q on such a significantly shorter cooldown with this massive burst damage coming through. But speaking of burst damage,
fair bit onto LoSiiZe, but the blue wall are going to be opting in for this fight. Estrefo once again rooted, once again taken out. Amancio Ornntega is on the backside of the fight and he's able to pull two back.
My God.
That's a lot of healing. That's a lot of damage from the Sett. Still not taken out as it's a double kill now for Vixie, and BLEU2TRAVAIL is going to be falling as well. Ace secured for Koi.
Jin's just the sacrificial lamb now. He's actually just the sacrificial lamb to get these team fight wins. What a massive W there coming through from Sett. Absolutely insane team fight. And it was perfect positioning. I feel like almost that Taliyah wall kind of made it worse for them, putting Sett directly in the face. And we're going to get a replay here coming through. And it's just, look at this. Look at this positioning from Sett on this flank, able to jump onto there. And they're all locked through with that Taliyah Everfrost as well. Oi, oi, oi. It's almost like they're just locking them in place to make it easier for them to hit this W. Like, yeah, you're not going anywhere. Sett's not complaining. I'm fine with it. And that's going to be a Baron now picked up. Now we're actually getting a little bit more of a difference coming through. We talked about how the blue wall was on an even gold state with a slight advantage due to Drake's. Well, now look at that. 5k gold advantage going through to Koi and that Baron buff with Dragon coming up in 25 seconds.
But the crucial thing is, the blue wall are the ones that have had the first track on that Drake. So they're the ones that have got the position. And remember, this is a Mountain Soul. This is going to be so huge for that Ornn, for that Volibear, for these tankier champions that are going to want to sit in the front of these fights. And whilst Koi are able to secure the mid priority, look, they're going to have such a rough time walking into this river.
Yeah, we're going to see this team fight break out, but look at how oppressive and zoning this Taliyah is. Can't even step forward with this ult, otherwise they'll just get chunked out by that massive amount of damage. Ornn coming down.
Amancio Ornntega going in, 3 people with the face breaker. The Graves is already dead though. That's 1 jungler down, but it's 2 more kills secured by Koi as they are going forward in this fight. FUBZ trying to turn it around and actually securing the shutdown there onto Ornntega. That is a big source of damage. The bear will fall down. Fackstard dashing forward, not able to find the charm. Still being autoed, is now going to start to reset. No junglers on the board for either of these teams, but it is a 3v2 in favor of Koi. This will be solved for Miyeon if he's able to secure it, but no! Stolen away by Estrefo. No kills coming through on the backside, but that's more time for Koi.
I actually feel like Senna did not respect how much burst damage and execute damage Jhin deals with that last auto there. We see Senna trying to continuously poke out that Drake rather than leave it in an attempt to try and, you know, get it out of the way with that strong vision control that they have of the Drake pit, but Jin's able to just walk in there and scoop it away. I can't help but feel like it's just still kind of rough. It's like, even though the team fight looked even, it was still 3 for 2 at the end for the side of Koi there, and they're able to pick up that Baron. Not Baron, sorry, that Dragon, and it means that we don't see the blue wall on that Soul. 1 more Drake to go. Still, it remains.
And the crazy thing is how quickly Vixie and Amancio Ornntega were actually going down there. It wasn't these 2 sort of large lads on the top side of the map that have been gaining these early advantages. No, it was Fackstard. It was honestly Estrefo getting that steal away, preventing the Mountain Soul going over. Massive for Koi, because it means that, yes, they've not got this Baron for very much longer, and they're probably not going to be cracking open any inhibs with it, but they're not going to have to face the blue wall, who are empowered by that buff.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe we could see some advantages here as being pushed forward by the blue wall to try and recover some space as we see that Baron buff wear off from Koi. We're going to see a little bit more vision control, but just look at this strong sideline pressure we have from the Sett. We did talk about how we expect to see the hull breaker, turned out not to be, which means he's able to play around this team more. But even with this, he's still got the stats able to try and beat that sideline pressure as he starts falling off in this kind of 1v1 situation towards the late game. I've still yet to see Miss Fortune do anything, by the way. So an ult's been thrown down like every team fight, and I feel like it's gotten absolutely no value MiddleCott.
Yeah, alzeri hasn't really been able to find the successful angles, but you only need 1 to win a game. Vixie now playing onto Miss Fortune and taking her out. Oh, that's disgusting amount of damage for FUBZ. Forced to ult themselves away as well. AD carry's not having fun in this game.
Yeah, and we talk about how Miss Fortune is not able to find anything, but Vixie seems to be just waiting. This is what happens when we see Koi actually get this vision control, and it's why we do see so much like stepping forward and trying to get it back, because you know you can afford to do that. So much burst damage coming down onto these squishies.
That's a golden Taliyah.
The Zonias
Going to be going down shortly. No, the body block coming through from Miyeon on the bot side of your screens there. Crucially, keeping a lot of that wave clear alive for LeBlueWool, and means they're going to be able to withstand this push a little bit easier. In the tower still falling down, but I feel like the K-Corp fans are going to make a stand at this in-hip tower.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm really, really happy with how, like, this is like, I don't want to say like this is high-end League of Legends gaming, but like this feels like really good League. I'm actually really enjoying it. Sure, we're seeing a little like some missteps here and there, but you can genuinely feel that both teams are like just playing to like get every single advantage they can. Now we're gonna see like maybe a setup here for Baron, as it's gonna come up in 115. Wouldn't shock me if we're gonna see more vision control taken here by Vixie, with Bookcat with the wards on his back, his personal own warding device. But look at this control. I feel like the vision control here from LeBlueWool is just way more defensive than anything. It's a very defensive, because they know Vixie can just clear out any wards that they try and place offensively in this river. So they have to just kind of play it back and watch out for any lurking in the bushes.
And I think a crucial thing to consider as well is that we do have that Mountain Drake spawning in a minute as well. So because these objectives are so close together as hold that thought, and Amancio might be getting caught out here, and you don't want to be dying before the Baron and the Drake spawn. Able to ult FUBZ over the wall with that showstopper, returning a fair bit of true damage, and Volibear doesn't win that 1v1.
But you know what that does mean? I don't actually know about the showstopper cooldown. I was gonna say this means that if they do,
it's going down pretty quickly.
I was gonna say if they launch into like an immediate fight, then sure, the showstopper's not up. But I feel like Amancio and Ornntega will have that showstopper up as we get into that middle of the fight. Now, what we do need to see is we need to make sure that he does not get blown up like last time. It is so important that he stays alive and he can actually peel for Vixie here, because once these two guys goes down, it's kind of just over for the amount of pressure that we're gonna see pushing forward for this team, and there is a recovery angle to be made there from LeBlueWool.
And I love what Koi are doing at the moment. They've recognized that if they throw at Baron, BlueWool are in a position where they can actually come back. The goal lead is significant in favor of the Spanish squad, but absolutely not out of question that LeBlueWool can come back into it. So they set up around the Drake. They take away this this objective. That's another 5 minutes that LeBlueWool are going to have to wait until the soul is an option, and you are getting resistances on this Graves, on this Sett, who would love to heal up. Volibear looking for the play here, but ultimately just get through it down. Vixie taken out at the start of the fight, and self-made Catalan going to be forced to run away. It's 1-for-1 so far. There's an Ornntega flashing forward onto that Miss Fortune. Not quite taking her out, though, as Fackstard very, very low. And as the rocks fly into the back of their head, they end up dead. A double kill secured for BLEU2TRAVAIL, and they are not stopping. The blue wall thrown out, the blue balls coming down. As rocks, those pebbles not quite able to connect.
Sorry,
forced into their own base.
What now? What now's coming down?
The blue wall.
That's, I swear that's not, I don't think that's what you said.
That's what I said. Inhib
okay.
gonna be taken down.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's what you said? Interesting, but we are going to see a complete domination here coming through. I expect to see a kind of look to end the game here. Huge pick coming through from BLEU2TRAVAIL. Amancio doing everything he can with that face breaker.
Vixie, they've got the GA. They're going to have a second life, but I'm not sure if Koi are going to have a second life. Yuumi is here, extra healing, extra damage. Exhaust, so huge, prevents the one shot and means you are going to be dropping into that GA, but it's a shutdown secured. Double kill for Vixie on this Graves, and this game is not over.
Oh my god.
Secured there. FUBZ the only one left alive.
That's absolutely massive recovery there from Vixie. The Guardian Angel getting so much mileage out. And sure, Yuumi is CC'd off, meaning she can't reattach to the Graves when he comes back. Oh, but my god, just getting another pick right before he died. Absolutely, the amount of burst damage there absolutely changes the term, like the way this is going to go. I was expecting an end there. I was expecting an end angle. We are going to see on the replay here. Unfortunately, not able to catch that burst right before he goes down. But look at the amount of damage able to get down so that Fackstard can actually clean up and even things out. What an amazing play there from Vixie, being able to, you know, bring back the tempo, swing the metronome, reset it, get it back in their favor, as we are going to see a fight play around this Baron shortly.
Yeah, that's the only objective standing on the map for the next 2.5 minutes, and with how bloody this game has been so far, nearly at 2 kills per minute, by the way, I'm sure that we're going to see these teams butt heads against that one. That GA being taken off now. A lot less gold efficient here for Vixie. One use item, basically. Not sure if they're going to get another charge of that in the next 5 minutes. 3 items completed for Estrefo. Rough game, definitely for the Jhin, but still going to be providing a lot of damage against squishy targets.
Absolutely, and I think both teams are kind of scaling into that element here. We're going to see a couple ornaments coming down here from Taliyah and Senna, getting these main carries even further ahead, but Jhin is reaching the point where now he's becoming very scary. 3 items on Jhin, 3 items on Yuumi. Jin's damage now, when attached, I don't think Yuumi's going to attach to Jhin. I think she'll stay on Vixie, but Jin's damage alone does make him enough of a threat that you actually have to respect that from LeBlue. He's no longer that squishy ADC. You can just blow up. He can run away at the speed of light, and he will one-shot your backline, as we see that smoke screen come down, followed by the W thing. I forget the fancy name for it.
Deadly Flourish.
Deadly Flourish. That's the one.
It's a good name. It's a good name.
They're all so dramatic. I just know this guy's a theatre kid, by the way.
I mean, he's literally an actor.
Exactly. I stand by my point then.
Proven correct. Is Fackstard going to try and start off the fight in the BLEU2TRAVAIL? Goes golden to buy some time. Ornn thrown out. Charm coming through here onto the Volibear, who's forced to ult defensively. That's not what you want to be doing. Into the backline goes Amancio, and down goes alzeri. The second kill secured for Koi as they are looking to go forward. Flipped up into the air. The Jhin is taken out, and now Amancio is being kited. He's being shot down. Fackstard being chased onto his Vixie diving into the backline. Takes out the Senna, but the Yuumi isn't able to jump on top of him. It's not going to matter though. There's too much sustain. There's too much damage, and LoSiiZe is going down. Triple kill for Koi.
My God, both teams are absolutely lethal. I talk about like all these carries are late game carries. They're all late game strong carries. Look at how much damage that we saw Taliyah throwing down there, instantly bursting down that Jhin, but it doesn't even matter because Vixie is also able to explode just as fast. Look at this positioning, managing to go back in after what looked like a really losing fight and actually reclaim it, but then it goes back again in the favor of Koi. My goodness, this fight was so back and forth, even I couldn't keep up. I don't know how you were casting that MiddleCott.
And the crazy thing is, we're still in this game.
How? How is this game still even? We've got this dragon coming up. It is soul point full of blue wall.
Oh,
but if Koi takes this and it's a double blue wall, Vixie's out of position, but FUBZ can't really take this fight. We've got the TP coming through.
Oh man, this is about to ensue. Amancio Ornntega in the front line, dunking Volibear onto the face of alzeri as they are taken out. LoSiiZe trying to make some action occur here as Vixie just able to dash away, but shut down. That's massive. No graves on the board means that the blue wall may just have a chance around this Drake. Still a 3 before they choose to back away. And Koi are going to put themselves on soul points.
I've seen Amancio Ornntega make that exact same play almost every team fight in the past 10 minutes. Every single time you see this bullet time thrown down, no, you don't. Alzeri gets dunked in the face and immediately removed. I feel like it's getting very linear now, and I'm actually shocked we've not seen a difference in repositioning here from this Miss Fortune, because I just keep seeing the same thing happen over and over again. Also, thank you very much for the €50 donation from #SKWin. Really appreciated. And again, that's what it's all about. We're seeing these amazing matches coming through from these really dedicated fans, all for this amazing cause for the Doctors Without Borders, helping out with this humanitarian crisis in Ukraine.
Absolutely massive, and everyone that is giving money, everyone is able to, massive shout out to you guys. Thank you very much. I will just say, #SKWin.
#SKWin.
#SKWin. Fair enough. Didn't expect that we'd be getting Prime League fans in for this matchup, but hey, you absolutely love to see it.
I was about to say, wrong game.
One game. Maybe it's for the other stream. I don't know if they're playing at the moment. Baron on the table. Sole point for both teams. That's spawning in 3.5 minutes. I don't really care about that one. This GA that we thought Vixie wasn't going to have another chance to use, it's back off cooldown. That's going to be so important for the upcoming fights.
Vixie was so unkillable even without that J. The amount of Yuumi healing coming down. We had the Mikhails. We have the Redemption. And now we've got GA. I'm scared. I'm really looking scared for LeBlue Wall. Speaking of, LeBlue Wall's going to come down. We're going to see the Ornn being blown through. Estrefo getting away barely with his life. Oh my god. But he takes down from that red buff. Absolutely insane. While Amancio Ornntega is splitting in the top side with us. The Hullbreaker forcing Miss Fortune to recall, but can't actually finish off this recall. Graves actually moving forward. Oh my god. It's such a bad spot. It's
being forced. Koi are forcing the issue. LeBlue Wall have to respond. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to. It is the Sett just 1v1. He doesn't care. He recognizes he's dead. He flashes forward. True damage flashed away from. Beautiful stuff from Miyeon, and I don't think you win the 1v5. And that's
Baron! Look at Baron!
The face breaker throws out the top.
Oh my god!
So much. First shutdown secured onto the Sett. And now with 2 dead, even if Koi do get this Baron, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to end the game. But the Blue
I don't even think they have time.
On their way over. They've got the blue trinket down. Do they have the time? No Weavers all available. Fackstard, it's just about buying time, but he gets flashed onto by FUBZ. The Ahri so kiteable, could get away the charm. The Volibear is there, flushing into the pit. Baron's so low, but not taken out. It's stolen. The blue wall steal away the Baron, but Vixie's still alive. Fackstard also residing in the realm of the living, but not for much longer. Miyon's gonna take them out. There's only 3 left alive on Koi, and Vixie's trying to cut away. They're not gonna be able to do it. Shutdown secured. The cat is dead as well. I think this game might be over.
But look at the base. There's 2 massive waves of super minions crashing in. One has to go back and matches. I don't need. This is the first useful bullet time we've seen all game from alzeri, and it really mattered. Picking up 2 kills there, so essential. Getting rid of that Guardian Angel and stealing away this Baron. Even with those 2 waves crashing, Taliyah can go back and match that because they have that Baron buff, and I do believe they can end here. Look at these timers, but Amancio Ornntega here ready with the showstopper. Ornn is up, and those ADCs are looking very squishable. The teleport instantly coming through from Taliyah. It's all down to this, the curtain call coming through, and it's all up to this final fight.
Sett going forward, throws out the 2 damage. The next is just going to be the focus, though. Estrefo's not going to be able to take them down, and the blue wall strike victory versus Koi.